And welcome to D-League Radio as we are set for one of the best rivalries in D-League Radio. Upcoming, it's a 3:15 game. It's the Vicious Squirrels taking on the Knights, and these teams have a lot of great games going back throughout the years. They've got a lot of pride, and as everyone knows, or maybe not everyone knows, but there's going to be a real special presentation at the end of the contest today because as D-League is evolving, players moving up, it sounds as if a lot of the key players in the rivalry might not stay in D-League next season. My name is Eric Zamora along with Kevin Coble, and we're really proud and honored to be able to call this game as this rivalry. Wouldn't say it's coming to an end, but certainly things are going to potentially look a lot different next season.
Oh, well, being a previous night last year, I got to play in these games, and it's a lot of fun. And you'd be amazed at what kind of pressure a traveling award, a belt, can actually do. It was a lot of pride involved there. And the Knights won the first one last year and held the belt going into the second one, and the Squirrels took it back, which could be the same thing as they do this year. The Knights they won the belt earlier this season, and now the Squirrels are looking to take it back from them again. But I think a lot of the new Squirrels and I think a lot of the new Knights will carry this tradition on. And I don't think it's dead by any stretch of imagination. It's just going to move on to some new players and younger players.
So, Kevin, you have that unique experience of being somebody who's been a part of this rivalry. Talk a little bit about what you know goes on throughout the week leading up. There's a little bit more trash talk. There's a little bit more posting on social media, but there's a lot of respect between these two clubs. And talk about what these teams right now are thinking about as they're getting ready to warm up and trying to win that coveted championship belt.
Well, it's one of those rivalries where it stems from the captains. John Reichart and Ed Bradford are good friends, and sometimes the best rivalries can come from friends because you really want to win and you want to really go after it. So as much as these guys have been gently ribbing each other on social media and having a good time with it, there's a lot of seriousness to winning this game. And I remember last year, John was talking to us quite the weeks before, so we were ready for it. Ready to go and have a good time. And one of those things, oh, look, they're doing like a little ceremonial puck drop here with Ed and John right now. That's kind of funny. But both teams take it very seriously. And you got the Squirrels wearing their striped, Boston Bruin-looking jerseys that, kind of drive your senses crazy against the black of the Knights. And it's, again, a lot of these players have been here for a while doing the same thing. Your Teague Boyds, your Ryan Llewellyns have been here. Hannah Haas was in it last year for the Knights, and she's back. Richard Harms. So some of these guys have been here before already. So they're moving up. You got Greening on the other side. Pete Van Houweling. A lot of these guys have actually been here before, and they know what it means to the captains to win that belt.
Had an opportunity to, along with TJ Fleming, who's out there, do the broadcast for the draft this past season, and that was one of the things that we pointed out is I think more than any team, it seemed like the Vicious Squirrels were really intent on trying to get as many familiar names and faces back in jerseys that were playing for them last year, and who can argue with the success? They end up winning the championship last year, so they have a lot of people who've got that experience. They know what it's like to play in a big game, and I know some people will say, well, this is the end of the regular season. This isn't all that meaningful. You can't tell that to the players who are out here today. For a while, with the schedule being a little bit up in the air, it looked like this game might not happen. So we're so glad that when the schedule got reconfigured, once we figured out ice time and whatnot, that the powers that be made sure that everybody who had not gotten an opportunity to play the one team that they hadn't played twice, that happened. So first of all, thank you for that. And most importantly, otherwise we would have missed out on half of the two matchups between these two teams in the regular season.
Well, make no bones about it. I'm pretty sure if this game wasn't scheduled on the normal schedule, these two guys would have found a rink somewhere to give them some time, and they would have brought their teams out to play for this belt.
A rink, a pond, something. And the way the weather's been, that might not have been the best route to go.
Oh, even a back alley somewhere with knives and chains. I don't know. It would have been settled somewhere or another for the belt for the the second contest, even if it was just a rumble in the jungle kind of thing.
That brings up memories of Anchorman when the various news departments met up in a back alley. And, well, that's not too far from the Knights and the Squirrels, but they want to get this settled. As you mentioned, the Squirrels are in the, I don't know what we want to call them, yellow jerseys, brown jerseys. It's yellow with brown or brown with yellow, a little bit of white in there. They'll be going from right to left on your screen this opening period, and the Knights in those menacing-looking black jerseys with purple and gray numerals, white trim going from left to right. Hannah Haas on the draw, and that'll be controlled by Johnny Bradford. Squirrels trying to get into the offensive zone, and they're stymied from there. Nice job playing it ahead. This will be, well, I was about to read the name off the back. It's Steve Delude. And the Squirrels misplay it. Hannah Haas will jump all over it, and Delude will get back in time and keep that away from the shifty Hannah Haas. Ooh. She's got 7 goals, 13 points in the season. And then we saw him, the first player out, Brownie, tips that one up with his stick, and he'll glove it and hold on 30 seconds into the contest.
Yeah, really quick shot. Nice shot by Dove to get that thing on net, and it could have ended up a lot different. Brown was able to control the rebound.
So we'll take a face-off to the right of Brown. It's controlled by the Squirrels, and I believe that's Robinson looking to make an exchange. It's played up, and excuse me, that was Reichert that made the play over.
Yep.
Van Horn fires but misses on the short side. Backing up is Mark Braden.
Whoa.
Reichert breaks up the play momentarily, but now coming in is Bradford. Bradford on a backhand and misses wide of the cage.
Good defense by Braden.
Good to see TJ Aaron's back in. We know that he was out for a while battling an injury, but, well, again, you talk about players stepping up, and I think TJ would probably have to lose a leg to miss this contest. Turnover at neutral ice, and Reichert unable to keep that away from Bradford. Bradford coming in, fires a shot, and a great save, and another by the netminder, TJ Aarons. He gets both sides tested out with a blocker save, then holds on for a glove save with 18:20 left in the first.
Both Bradfords getting a shot on that one. First Johnny and then Ed. And TJ's up to the challenge. But, yeah, this is his first game back after the injury. Another turn aside by TJ Aarons.
Aarons had an opportunity to talk with him in the meantime. He was able to go out a couple of times and skate, but was not able to play goalie, just kind of a different setup, lower body injury, and he just said that it didn't bother him at all when he was out there skating, and probably a good idea for him to get out there and get some rust off, although it's not the same. But the veteran goaltender waits as the Squirrels dump it in. Reichert is able to handle that play in from Pauly. And once again, the Squirrels get it right back in. It's the crafty veteran Pete Van Houweling entering the zone, but Boyd will get a big clearance. At their own blue line, Squirrels. And it's stripped away by Boyd. Boyd has one man to get around. It's Pauly, and Pauly does a nice job there of at least slowing him down. Now Boyd comes up with a puck, but it's in the corner as opposed to right out in front of the net.
Oh.
Nice job there by the wing, Van Houweling, tipping it out, and it'll be dumped right back in by the Knights. They'll go to work pressuring, but the Squirrels get the clearance. Hannah Haas right back out there, and we'll have the Knights touch up. Tough angle shot, was going wide anyway, but the netminder Brown gets a stick on it. Now, was in the locker room before the game with the Knights, and it sounded like they had a late. Well, we'll hold on that thought for a moment. Quick shot from Robinson, held onto by Brown. But it sounded like they had a player, I'm not sure who it was, but a player who they had anticipated being here at the last minute not show up. So I think they're going to end up going with 2 centers. We'll keep an eye, but Hannah Haas was the first line center. She's already back out there. And Harms trying to dig that right in between the circles, and Haas will go after for the chase. Again, a sharp angle shot that's off the mark, but you don't mind those, even though it ends up being off target. Just getting the puck to the net sometimes can create some fortunate bounces. Aaron will go behind the cage to play it. It's sent around the boards. And they center it out front. Squirrels can't get the finishing touch from there. Aarons will slide that one over. Tough to see if that would have gone in or just through the crease, but Aarons definitely didn't want to leave it in the paint. Hannah Haas does a nice job as she's able to get that out to center ice and further across the blue line. She's looking to make the pass ahead and trying to pull that over unsuccessfully with Zach Murray, but a good play there by the Squirrels to break up that offensive bid.
Really, really aggressive play by Brown to come out and attack the puck as opposed to waiting for it.
And he's rewarded for the effort. Here's Dulude firing a shot right on the logo of the netminder Ahrens. He'll hold on for the save. 15-13 to go in a scoreless first period.
Oh, both goalies getting some work, and both of them standing up to it. It's 0-0. I think this is going to hopefully stay close. Just for those of us that enjoy a good game, this is already there.
So the faceoff will come in the offensive zone for the Squirrels, who I'd give them the edge so far when it comes to possession, as Bradford is back out there to take the draw. He'll win it over to the right, held in at the point. Looking to rip a shot there was Thomas Luft. That was deflected before it got to the cage. Around the bend they go, and Reichert will send it up the right wing side. That'll go all the way down. Icing is the call with 14.5 left to play here in period number 1.
Yep, he was being harassed by Steve DeMarkey back there, who was really playing a very good aggressive floor check, making John pass it out too quickly and just basically right down for an icing. Both of them smiling, though, at the end of it. So you like those rivalries that are fun.
The face-off in the offensive zone once again for the Squirrels, and they're able to keep the zone, at least for the moment. They throw it towards the net, right idea, but they're not able to get a tip, and that will go into the corner. It'll stay there for a moment. Looking to break that up is Dave Nemi out front. And time and a great glove save by the netminder, Ahrens, as he denied a quality scoring chance right in the slot. And he was able to not only come up with the save, but holds on to it, as that would have been a dangerous rebound had he given one up.
That was a beautiful save right into the glove. And Steve DeMarkey made a great shot to an open area of the net. And he just got shut down.
They get it back to the net. And once again, bodies out front and sticks out front, most importantly, will slow it down. Boyd tries to get a clearance up for Van Horn. And a shot in the slot off the mark, as that was Casey Spear throwing it towards the net, but it missed Ahrens to his right. Sent back to the point. McFarland will hold in, pressured. A nice pressure there by Jeremy Dove. That helps break it up. Dove going the other way. He's got Van Horn, and Van Horn didn't see Bradford coming from his blind side. Nice job by both of these teams. Sometimes we will talk about teams maybe not putting in enough effort. That's not going to be the case tonight. Everybody is going to be back-checking and doing everything they need to. Bradford with a low shot, and Ahrens did a nice job there making sure that he had a backup plan, had the stick, but then was positioned with the pads behind it. All he would end up needing would be the stick. Barnhill from the red line plays it into the offensive zone, quickly brought out by Van Horn, but the Squirrels. Nice heads-up play there by John Good. He was in need of a change and had no momentum. No reason to try to risk turning the puck over. He just got it deep and let a new oncoming fresh teammate deal with it. Van Horn battling in the corner, popped up, and a routine pop-up to the second baseman, Ahrens. Call it an F4 for the out. 12:05 to go in period number 1. And the game has got a real good pace to this point.
Oh, absolutely. And you saw Bradford and Van Horn down in there in the corner digging that puck out. It's just going to get better from here.
One thing you could say is if you're a Knights fan, you're hoping for a little bit more action to our right. So far, things have been in the south end primarily. Robinson pressuring, and Brown with a nice job. We've seen a couple of times in the season Brown come up to make a play like that and make it a little bit hairy on himself, but there was no doubt. He quickly got it over the blue line. Once he does that, there were so many players in that even if the Knights had come up with it somewhere at neutral ice, they would have had to wait a good 5-6 seconds to touch up.
You kind of live by the sword and you die by the sword. He plays aggressively. That's his game, and he's very successful with it.
Haas with a quick shot on, gloved by Brown, and he'll hold on. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. When you play against the Knights, that's certainly potentially the case. But so far, it's been a goaltender's battle, although I think a lot of the credit for the zeros on the board has to go to the blue lines of both sides. They've done a nice job of limiting. We haven't seen too many grade A scoring chances. Just as I say that, Brown makes sure that there isn't one there. There was an oncoming Knight, and Brown escorts that to the right circle, and eventually the Squirrels get the clearance. Vicious Squirrels get it just over the blue line, backhanded in deep by Robinson. Swangle will apply some pressure, and that creates this for Haas. Haas gets it back to Swangle. It's loose. Still sitting there. Haas sweeps it over, and now it'll be Delude.
Woo, those are the ones that will drive you crazy.
And up and out, and the Squirrels on the pressure. Little things like that, but Swangle applying the pressure in the right wing corner for the Knights. That forced the pass by the Squirrels behind their own goal line to be a little bit rushed, and that was enough to create that great opportunity as Haas threw it out front to him. In the offensive zone go the Squirrels. They'll keep it in as Spear, won't say pinches in, but he certainly starts to creep towards the circle. And a centering pass out to nobody. Ooh. Haas will get it going the other way. Nearly kept in, and this is big. They'll catch him trying to make a personnel change. Robinson whistles a shot wide, and it comes right back to him. Backhand effort as it was fed over to him by Adam Swangle. Still pressuring now is Reichert, and Robinson does a fantastic job of going to where Reichert normally would be as a defenseman, and they make sure that they've got that nice 3-2 setup. 9:20 to go in a scoreless first period. A mishandle of the puck by Barnhill. Robinson will take advantage.
There's Teague Boyd. There it is.
Off the side, and a big save by...
It's a goal. It's a goal.
In. It looked initially no reaction. Thought that Brown had gotten to the left post in time. And at D-League in all levels, but especially D-League, you don't see enough play behind the goal line sometime. And there, the shot wide, but sometimes an intentional miss is fantastic. If you know how to carom it, it goes straight to Teague Boyd, and Boyd buries it for his team-leading 13th of the season, and he puts the Knights on top 1-0.
Fantastic eyesight. He knew where to go, and that's what makes a really good player right there.
The Squirrels, as you would expect, right back into the offensive zone. They want to respond, and quickly. They'll cycle it deep, and that's just out of the reach of McFarland. Harms will get that ahead, and now Boyd. Boyd with one man to bit. He's in all alone on the forehand, denied by Brown, and Barnhill is there, and great save by Brown, but Barnhill has to make sure that that gets out of the zone. The Knights will flip it into the bench of the Vicious Squirrels, but Brown with a huge save to keep this a one-goal game.
Well, Teague found himself one-on-one with probably the most inexperienced defenseman the Squirrels have, Mr. Luft, who tries really hard, but Teague's a great skater, went right past him, and he got a great chance. I think he wished he would have had another one.
And we've seen throughout the season, Brown is fantastic on those type of plays, but sometimes he's liable to leave a rebound. He was aided by his defense big time. Now just outside the crease of Aarons, and the puck got in once or twice, but the netminder steers all attempts aside, and this is going to be the Squirrels with a quick redirection, and that wasn't just tipped on, it was thrown back at him with force. But Aaron's able to make the stop with 7:15 left to go in the first period.
Oh yeah, that was a great save, but that was a great tip by Steve DeMarchi. That puck was coming in quick, and he redirected it.
In a scrimmage on Friday night, I had a similar play like that, and I did the exact opposite. I just stopped it. But he not only was able to get it on target, but it actually gave it a little bit more. Sometimes you see those type of plays, and it slows down the puck. Not there. Aaron's had to be on top of his game. He'll jump over to the left side, hug that post, and the Knights off to the other side. I've had to stop myself a couple of times from not yelling Buccaneers into the offensive zone. Haas will fire one. It's wide of the mark, but Brown with a good save there. Won't go down as a save because it was off the mark, but Brown makes sure that what happened a few minutes ago doesn't happen again. And sometimes those are the most impressive saves, is when you're getting all the way over and covering even more than the net.
Well, Brown covers a lot of net just by size, and he's got a lot of big pads, and he moves really well. And there he goes aggressive again, coming right out after the puck.
And he'll jump all the way over, touch the right circle, and with 6:05 to play in the opening period, Knights on top thanks to a Teague Boyd goal.
Yep. And a really nice assist on that goal by Mr. Robinson, Chase Robinson.
And for Robinson, that is his 7th point of the season. Squirrels will get a clearance, send it all the way down, and we'll have an icing against the vicious Squirrels. Knights back in the offensive zone. And early in the contest, even with that goal, it seemed like the ice was tilted in favor of the Squirrels. Knights lately, the last few minutes, have done a really good job of starting to balance that out.
Well, it's all down to a break or two, and they did. They took advantage of the chance they had.
Boyd to Van Horn. Van Horn gets it back to the point and thrown towards the net by Braden. From there, it's slowed down. They'll call the time of the goal 11-11. Boyd from Robinson, and getting low is Brown with the save and the stop. And here the vicious Squirrels, Ryan Greening will send it all the way down, and believe me, the Squirrels bench is quite fine with that icing call. As we mentioned a couple of minutes ago, the Knights have done a really good job of applying pressure as of late.
They've got a really good lineup. They really balance them out. The Squirrels are kind of going with a different idea. The Bradfords are both on the same line, and that's their 1 and 2 scores. So we'll see if that comes back to bite them. They've got great chemistry together. And sometimes, you don't get out there as many times when you got a deep bench as they do.
Ed with 22 goals and 31 points on the season. Johnny Bradford, 17 goals, 25 times he's reached the score sheet. And as you mentioned, they're putting a lot of firepower together. Here we go. It's Bradford, and it's off his Niemi is able to make the play. Boyd getting back, helping out, and Reichert tries to get a clearance, and it's held in for a moment.
And it went over the glass.
But Emerson's effort goes up and over the window pane. 4 minutes left to go in opening first period. And I don't think anybody expected anything less than this, but I think fans might be getting even more than they were expecting or bargained for, as we've had some good scoring opportunities. We've had some great defensive plays. As you would expect, this is going to be one of those matchups where every inch is going to be hard to get.
And every mistake could be the critical one.
Braden will wrap it around the boards. Held in and left there. As trying to get it out was Swangle, overskated it for a moment. Looking to get it towards the net is Spear. It goes behind the goal line. This will be held in at the left point. Barnhill pressured by Robinson. They'll get it ahead. Now Robinson waits and moves it over for Boyd. He'll just push that to open space and knows that Boyd has the speed to catch up to it. Barnhill with a nice play.
Very nice.
As he'll take that off of the possession of Boyd.
Braden, good play.
And a fantastic, otherwise that's a 2-on-1 the other way for the Squirrels if the Knights aren't able to keep the zone. They're not able to keep it forever as it's into the corner. And I've got 77 on ours listed as Brown. They must have a different player in the uniform. We'll see if we can take a look at that here in a couple of minutes.
Is that TJ? TJ Fleming?
Oh, it very well could be. Yeah, we've got him listed as 23. I haven't seen a 23 out there. From the left circle, overskating it is Pauly. Popped up and over. A little bit of a rainbow fluttering shot, but that one wasn't that far off the mark. In the slot is Boyd, and that one is up and through the uprights for 3 points, but no goal as the Knights keep it in the offensive zone. Squirrels looking to get the clearance, and they will as Pauly is able to get that out. Looks over at the bench. Looked like he was thinking about making a change. He'll stay out. Robinson unable to connect on the pass to Swangle. Robinson will get a touch on it as he's out there with Boyd, and it's muscled away from him. Played past Braden, but Braden will stay with it, and a nice job sticking with McFarland and quickly getting it out to center ice. They'll move the puck over to the right side as the Knights see it, but nobody there. But those in yellow and brown. Into the offensive zone is Fleming, centering pass. And a plethora of Knights there to steer it away. Then jumping on that is Reichert. To the right of his netminder, he comes to his aid. 90 seconds left to go in the period. 1-0. Knights on top. Sent around for Zach Murray. Murray pressured, and his teammates have got to let him know that someone's coming from the blind side quicker, as I think that one really threw him off, just not knowing there was somebody there. Knights will play it into the offensive zone. Barnhill races towards it. Murray will poke it away, and Hannah Haas looks like she'll get it and does. Sends it to the point, or excuse me, to the slot, but just out of the reach of Murray.
Get on sides, get on sides.
It's dumped in by Niemi, and you hear the officials calling offside. That'll cause Haas and Murray to have to touch up. Long home run pass, attempting to connect ahead.
About 45
for
seconds. Oh,
the
off the top of the
Squirrels,
glass.
and just staying in. Brown thought there may have been an icing. He won't have such luck. Haas, however, has that played away from her, and up with speed is Ed Bradford, just offside with 32 seconds left to go in the first period. And that's a huge call as the Squirrels looking to try to end the first period with some momentum, but they stubbed their toe in the final minute.
Ed made a little dipsy move right there at the line. Johnny was already at full speed, went right off sides.
So we'll take a face-off with, by the time the puck is dropped, about 10 seconds to go in period number 1. Squirrels play it in, but this will be Reichert. He'll just calmly throw that out to center ice, and the Knights will go ahead and take the first period 1-0. The score, the goal, is the 13th of the season from Teague Boyd. He's got 18 points on the year. Lone assist to Chase Robinson. His stat line reads 3 and 4 for 7. And the Knights coming out with a strong first period performance. As someone who's played in this rivalry before, right now, what are the Knights talking about what went well and what they need to duplicate here in the second?
I think John's pretty much just like, hey, what we're doing is working. Keep going, don't give up. Go after the loose pucks. Keep hustling, keep moving, do your circles. Both teams are shooting well. You had over 10 shots for both teams. Both goalies are playing very well. A lone goal by Teague Boyd, which was a very nice shot. Squeezed through the corner there. I mean, that I'm amazed that one actually got through Brown. But a great effort on Chase's part by making a hard shot and went around the net, right onto the stick of Teague Boyd. But right now, what the person I noticed is missing is Charlie Marriott, and he's a big boy. He plays really tough, and I think they really are going to miss him, especially later in the game. The Squirrels play physical. We played them last week, the Jesters did, and they played us very tough, very rough, and they come away with a win against us. And you can't let up on them, or else you're going to let them sneak right in. And the Bradford line is going to be a hard one to stop. They got Steve DeMarchi up there with them, who's playing very well on his own. So
you've got to imagine that it's just a matter of time before they break through. How about this for the Squirrels? Bradford comes in, Ed, I should say, with 31 points. Johnny with 25. Ryan Greening with 22, and Brian Emerson with 14. Those are their top 4 goal scorers. Yet those weren't the names that we heard called a ton in the broadcast. And I'm wondering if that's either they just haven't gotten things going, as we see a quick shot and it's off the mark by Duluth, or if the Knights are just doing a fantastic job of knowing, hey, those are the guys we don't want to beat us, and have come up with something that they've been able to, I wouldn't say take them out of the game, but certainly try to slow down those guys. As again, it just seems like their top scorers, the Bradfords and Greening, haven't had the puck on their tape all that much.
Yeah, that's a kudos to the Knights who actually pulled that off. But now it's when the other guys will step up. Your Brian Emersons, your Steve Deluge, your Steve DeMarchi. That's when your second tier of guys come in, and that's when it's their chance to shine. Patrick McFarland has had some good games. Pete Van Howley knows how to score the puck. So they'll find a way to score. This isn't going to end 1-0. I'd almost bet some money on it.
And Dove there started a great look offensively. He was able to get it over for Haas, and then Van Horn back to Dove. But we're going to have a penalty upcoming, and it's going to go against the Knights. Reichert is going to be called just 1 minute and 12 seconds into period number 2. I got that backwards?
Does he think or he doesn't know it's on him? No,
I see Dulude going to the box, and what threw me off there, as I saw the two of them tangled up, but it looked like that was clearly possession Knights. So I'm surprised that the puck was blown there, but it will indeed be Steve Dulude heading to the box. For Dulude on the season, that's just his second penalty, and it puts the Knights in a great spot here, up 1-0, and they'll get Teague Boyd out to center this power play unit. Robinson feeds that over and just misses Swangle. A puck will go towards but not into the crease.
There we go.
And great look there by the three of them. That one wasn't going to get through that line. A shot from the point, and Brown will kick it to the corner. Held in nicely.
Nice.
Great job getting it over towards Boyd by Dave Nemi, as twice He's been able to keep that puck in the offensive zone, but Van Howling will get a big clearance, send it all the way down, and Aarons will look to play it.
Yeah, you got a really nice little penalty kill out there with Greening, Van Howling. You got Brian Emerson out there. You got some guys who can really defend.
Back into the offensive zone after the clearance by Van Howling.
Nice pass by Swingle.
Great look there, and just off the mark as Braden kept it coming. That one was played, and it's going to be a high stick, not a penalty, but playing the puck with one. So that'll stop action a minute into the 3-minute man advantage for the Knights.
Not great play by Swingle to keep the puck in, but yeah, it was too high.
And that was one of those where sometimes you do that to try to keep the zone. That one wasn't really needed, but it's one of those in the moment, all you can think of is, hey, I can get to that puck, and, well, that'll send it all the way back down into Knights territory. Yeah. Robinson will control the face-off win by the black and purple. They'll move it ahead, but this one will probably be icing. No, Boyd is going to get there in time as that one slowed down as soon as it came up along the east side boards and out of our view here.
Great hustle by Teague Boyd.
Braden will control it just outside the Squirrels' blue line. Boyd tries to get a shot through, and not knowing that he blocked it was Van Howling. Now he's able to get it ahead and trying to bring it back.
Yeah, he had nobody to help him. Greening, great play by Greening, but nobody there to help.
But they'll take that on the kill. That'll get around one man, but not the second. Once again, Squirrels send it deep. 50 seconds left to go on the man advantage, and the Knights have had issues keeping it in the offensive zone. Turned over in shorthanded, firing a shot, and it's off the target. McFarland there looking for his 4th goal of the season, and they'll track this down. It's Haas. Haas from the right wing boards. Tries a long breakout pass. Sometimes you see that when a team's had a couple of passes that haven't worked. They try instead, say, hey, let's try to take up a bunch of ice with one long pass, and usually it doesn't end up working out. Haas has a pass blocked, and then the Squirrels will send it down for a majority of the rest of the penalty.
Casey Spear hustling up. Look at that.
Spear will pressure.
2 plays in a row, that's what he's done.
And the Knights will exit the zone. Ahead is Reichert. But again, when you're struggling, it should almost be the opposite. You should be going, let's try to keep things simple and try these short passes, but sometimes out of frustration, you're trying to do it all at once. You try to go for the home run instead of maybe some solid contact and getting runners on base. Reichert will move it over. Braden has plenty of time. He looks up ice and is able to get that through to Zach Murray. Murray to Haas, and there's pressure right at the blue line. Finally, the Squirrels will get a clearance.
Patrick McFarland again.
Reichert in his own zone. He's got time, moves it over to Braden. Seen that a couple of times, and I think that's the hockey IQ of Reichert. You'll see some players try to force it, constantly go north-south, north-south. But if you've got a man open, and there's a backhand shot that came out of nowhere, but Brown is able to come up with the save. But finishing up that last point, Reichert knows that, hey, especially a couple of times Braden's been over here and there seems like there's been nobody in his zip code. Why not give it to him, give him an opportunity to take that time, look up, and see if he can't find a different route to gaining the zone.
It also spreads out the opponents. It's a lot easier to skate around guys when they're spread out than when they're bunched up in their own zone.
Well, and as you know, with
good save.
A quick save off the draw. With my skills, I try not to skate around everybody. I like it when there's nobody there, and that's exactly what Braden was looking at a couple of times. Squirrels come out of the zone, and with speed. Didn't even have to see the number. You could tell it was a Bradford coming to the offensive zone, backed up by his brother, Johnny. Looking to get it out front. Behind the goal line, it stays, and Reichert is able to prevent that one from going out front. Now on the backhand, Bradford moves it over and just out of the reach of Steve DeMarchi. DeMarchi will battle for it behind the goal line. Bradford, it's Johnny out front. Excuse me, that's Johnny Bradford. It's Ed. I had it right the first time. From his brother Johnny, and the Squirrels get the equalizer. It comes 6 minutes and 55 seconds into period number 2. 1-1. We've got ourselves a tie ball game.
Yeah, I think it's Johnny from Ed. 91 scored it. That's Johnny. So Yeah, it's hard to. They both have the white helmet and everything.
And they both got a 1 in their number, so
Yeah.
we're just going to go Bradford.
Bradford from Bradford. Easy enough. But Dove made a really nice stick check on Johnny right before the puck got there. Johnny was able to get his stick right back down and make the shot.
So, and another quick shot. It hit off the side of the net. You heard some fans and some players on the Squirrels bench. They thought they'd come back with a quick back-to-back goal, but we do have a goal from the Bradford, DeMarkey, and Bradford law firm brought in by the Squirrels and the Knights. We'll see how they respond here, as they had to be feeling a lot better moments ago when they had the lead. Dove will bring it in the offensive zone. They look up for the task. A shot goes off of Luft, then over to the back door, and Dove, if he's a righty, that's a different story, but that's a tough play for a southpaw. Dove gets to a loose puck, throws it towards the net, and Brown is able to make the stop. 11:48 to play in the second period. 1-1 the score, as these two teams battling for the championship belt. This will be poked out to center ice and in, but getting tangled up there was Greening. Over for Van Houweling, and calling for it. Van Houweling with a great pass to the back door, and you could hear it from up here, and that's what you like to hear out of teams, is communication. Teague Boyd delicately keeping that away from Van Houweling, who tried to come up with a steal in the offensive zone. Dove will kick that to his forehand, brings it across the line. Didn't have a ton of speed there, but he's able to craftily move it over to Boyd. Off the mark is the effort. Reichert will step up, and he may pay the price. The Squirrels into the offensive zone. They've got numbers. Last man back is Braden, firing a shot, and a stick save by the netminder. He'll steer that Brian Emerson effort to the corner, and now the other way goes Dove. Dove kicks it ahead to himself, and coming in with him, he's got Chad Van Horn. He'll take the shot. Blocker save by Brown. End-to-end action as we've reached the halfway point of the contest. Van Horn will go into the corner, looks for a centering pass, and it's actually kicked towards the net. Delude is the first one there to thank Brown for making the save, as that one went off of his skate, and Brown will hold on with 10:15 to play in period number 2.
Oh, do I know that feeling when you feel the puck go off your skate and not sure where it goes.
Delude makes up for it as he quickly gets to the face-off win and wraps it around the boards. Swangel's effort towards the net is blocked, held in by Braden. And I don't have any Royal Nutter Butter championship belt literature, but I would have to imagine if this were to end in a tie goes to the team who currently has it, correct?
I would assume so.
Haas goes into the corner, as that's what this one looking like it very well could be the outcome. Knights keep it in the zone. Swangel spins around, but a good job putting sticks in lanes and breaking up that play was Steve DeMarkey. He'll head back into the defensive zone as it's sent in. Swangel can't be happy that DeMarkey is on him immediately as he just sent him to the ice. Swangel tries to get a shot through. Now it's Haas. Haas backing up, and Swangel looking over, taking his time, and sends it out front. Robinson with a shot and a save by the netminder Brown. 9 minutes to play. Robinson with one of the best scoring chances. Now, there was traffic out front, but that pass was right to his tape. He was not only able to settle it down, but really get some torque on that wrist shot, and Brown makes sure there is one and only shot as he's able to prevent a rebound from squirting out.
Oh, you almost wonder if he would have got that like a one-timer. Could he have beat Brown? Brown was all over it. He knew the pass was going. Oh,
there's going to be a lot of what ifs on that one, because the other thought is that obviously went kind of right at Brown. If Robinson can elevate that, maybe get a little bit more to the corners, but the Squirrels into the offensive zone, they'll take a spill. Both sides will lose a player for the moment. They pop right back up. Pauly has time, but is pressured by Hannah Haas. Held in the zone, and wrapping it around is Nemi. And this will come out. Here we go. Centering pass out front, and scoring is Johnny Bradford from his brother Ed, and Ed made that play as he was able to draw somebody with him and then just sends it right out front, and then Johnny sweeps that in, and he's got the goal that puts the Squirrels on top by a score of 2-1.
Well, I guess my question was answered about keeping the Bradfords together on the line, because they've got 2 goals out of it.
And we'll see as the game goes on if there's any change to that format. Potentially, if the Squirrels are up late, maybe they try to spread people out for a defensive standpoint. But here they go back in. There's no defense now for the Squirrels. Quick shot and a save by Aarons and another as he got just a piece of that backdoor attempt. Then he'll glove and hold on with 7 minutes to play in the second. But as of late, TJ Aarons has been under fire, and the Knights are going to have to dial up something differently as they can't just keep leaving their netminder under this much constant barrage.
Well, you're seeing the numbers possibly catching up with them. The Knights are a little bit shorthanded today. The Squirrels have a full bench over there. So that could be coming back to get them right now. Everybody's a little tired.
We talked about the Knights having to roll just 2 centers, and as the game wears on, that's going to wear on them. Playing it up, but not out. Getting it to the blue line was Nemi. Ooh. Over the back door, then pulling it over to the other side and swept away as the Bradfords smelled blood in the water. Should point out that was Johnny from Ed, but Steve DeMarchi also picking up the secondary assist on that last goal. Came 12-19 into the second period. The second period has been all Squirrels on the scoreboard and all Bradfords on the scoreboard as those two have combined for 4 points.
Yeah, that could have been almost a goal for Pete Van Houweling there. He was right on the doorstep.
Greening pressured and elects to go the side that didn't have nearly as much pressure up for Barnhill, and he'll step up and pinch in for him. Battling, and it's
nice play by Rich
in
Arms
the zone.
there.
Yeah. As that allowed that to go back to the defenseman, Knights get a clearance. Swept away from Murray as it looked like he was trying to make a centering pass over for Boyd. From the north side of the red line, looked like originally the initial call from the officials was going to be icing, but they end up waving it off. 5:12 to go in the period, and we're going to have an offside call. As this game has started to develop, we talked, and maybe they heard us, but we talked about early that the Squirrels had some big names that just didn't seem to be around the puck as much in the first period. It's been the exact opposite case, as I'd say almost about 30% of the time it's been a Bradford with it on his tape.
Well, they've had a lot of other guys chipping in on that too. It helps them. But I think the numbers game is starting to help. And like I said, I think the Knights are getting a little bit tired.
Dove throws it out front. He had Boyd sitting in the crease, and waiting at the back door was Chad Van Horn, who'd fed it over to the left wing. Yep. But Dove's attempt to get it through is broken up by Brown, who holds on, and he'll take a face-off to his right. One back by Boyd. Reichert feeds it to Braden, and Braden did a nice job there not panicking. You could see that it kind of started to roll over his stick, but he took his time and advanced it. Now the Squirrels trying to get back onside, as there was a player, it looks like it was Casey Spear, and what he was trying to do was skate west and keep his skate down. Well, the problem with that is he had a teammate right in front of him, and so he ends up having to pick up that foot, and that will end up being an offside call. Interesting little quick story. Earlier in the season, Scott Flounders on our Tall Boys team complained once because he said, "Why did they call me offside? My skate was right over the blue line." And we go, "Yeah, it has to stay on the ice." Oh, okay, that's why.
Yeah.
We'll have another quick whistle. 3:25 to go in period number 2.
Oh, a penalty.
And didn't see that initially called. Was a little bit curious about what the whistle was for, but it'll be Dove headed to the box, and this will put a very potent, vicious Squirrels power play on the ice, as they've got all the momentum on their side right now with the only 2 goals of the period.
I think this gives Jeremy Dove the penalty lead for his team now, because him and Hannah have been battling it out this season. Not the title I think they really want.
Well, it depends on who you talk to. I can think of a couple of tall boys who are very proud of their penalty minutes.
Back to Scott Flounders again, are we?
Well, don't leave out our captain either.
Yeah.
They'll cycle it deep. Bradford tries a centering pass and doesn't get it out of the zone, but a nice job there by Hannah Haas making sure that that wasn't an easy tap-in. They'll cycle this over Bradford, and it's Ed who gets it on, and Aarons makes the save. Dulude throws it through traffic. DeMarkey trying to fight to get it through. It's still at his skates. And now over. Backhand shot and a glove save! And jumping on the rebound is TJ Aarons. Ed Bradford with a fantastic look. And TJ Aarons makes the save of the game on the penalty kill to keep it a 2-1 game.
Wow, what a save. I think the injury is not affecting him because he stretched way out there to get that.
Johnny Bradford on the face-off. We'll see if that sparks the Knights, as you've got to imagine their bench was elated to see the glove of TJ come up with that one. Bradford switches over to his brother and denied. In the slot is Ed with DeMarkey out front. And then Haas will play this all the way down. Brown will hop up to the top of the circles.
Uh-oh, they might catch him in the change.
Slides it over. Now this is the second period, the toughest period for teams to make a defensive change. And then Ed Bradford with a quick shot, kisses off the right post and out. And the Knights will use that and get a clearance. Robinson coming up with speed. He'll pressure Brown, and Brown is able to get it up to Dulude. Dulude quickly ahead to the red line, chopping at that, but unable to get it was Greening. And Reichert will send it all the way down. He and Braden will keep the post at their own blue line. Minute left to go in the period, as we're about 5 seconds difference between the penalty time and the period time, as the second period will expire before the penalty to Dove unless the Squirrels can capitalize on the man advantage. Here comes Greening. Greening fires a shot, and for a second that looked like that had found the backside.
That's off.
And then this is off, as that was Emerson, kicked it over the blue line, and as soon as he went to play it over to the left, realized what the situation was and went, should have left that one go. But I don't think it would have mattered too much, as this is going to eat up most of the period, but most likely so would leaving that puck, as I believe the Knights would have had plenty of time to get to it and send it all the way down. 15 seconds to go in period number 2. 2-1, Vicious Squirrels on top. Reichert plays it away from a pressuring Greening. Now Reichert up and out of the zone. The Squirrels, with 3 seconds left in the period, Barnhill chased by Robinson, and the period comes to an end. We'll have 4 seconds of a Vicious Squirrels power play to start the third period, but it looks like the Knights have done a good job. I don't want to say anything before it's completed, but it appears as if they're going to kill off this penalty, and that's a huge momentum boost rolling into the third.
Well, what they've got to do is start this period like they started the first period, which was very aggressive. A lot of floor checking, a lot of going after those loose pucks. They sat back a little bit this period more than they did the previous. You get down one goal, you allow that first goal, you feel a little down, then you allow the second one. But the end of the period, they killed the penalty really well, and you can see them starting to pick it back up. The momentum for both teams is really well right now. Both teams know that they can win this game. It's all a matter of who makes a mistake here. If the Squirrels allow them to tie this game up at 2-2, it's just a matter of who makes one after that. If the Squirrels can get a third goal, they could really, they'd be really hard to get back in contention for the Knights to get 2 goals.
All right, we'll quickly give you a word from our sponsor. All games are brought to you by the Keg Stand, 3530 Westtown Parkway in West Des Moines. Over 90 beers on tap with new tappings every week. Don't miss half-price wings on Wednesdays along with penny pitchers. Home of D-League and D-League Radio, the Keg Stand. And don't forget the first annual D-League Postseason Awards. This very special event will be held exclusively at the Keg Stand following the conclusion of the season. More details to come. Keep listening on D-League Radio. I want to quickly go through the scoring summary. Low-scoring game, so fortunately that's not going to take up too much time. But Teague Boyd got the Knights on the board 11-11. Make-A-Wish into the first period. Chase Robinson with the lone assist. Johnny Bradford scores in period number 2 for the Vicious Squirrels from his brother Ed. And then that was at the 7:16 mark, 5 minutes and 3 seconds later. Johnny again from Ed and Steve DeMarkey have the Squirrels on top by a 2-1 score. We'll start out with 18 minutes up on the third, and the Squirrels.
T. Boyd down the middle.
Here comes Boyd. Out of the box is Dove. We're
No
5-on-5. Boyd, backhand shot, and coming up with a stop to start things off well for his third period squad is Brown.
Oh, high stick. Ooh.
And getting that up was Nemi, just missing, as that was Fleming that took it. That'll take a deflection. And you know what? I'm just noticing now that the netminder is wearing the different Vicious Squirrels, so that's got to be what it is Fleming is wearing it. So I'm wondering if TJ didn't leave his laundry at home.
He might have. But you can see that's a big jersey on him. I was actually noticing how big the sleeves were. So yeah.
Boyd to take the face-off as he's up against McFarland. Van Horn will pressure. They're not going to be able to get there in time. Barnhill at left D gets the clearance. Knights send it right back, intending to get that ahead for Boyd, but McFarland comes into the offensive zone, makes a pass over. Nemi is there. Reichert with 16:45 to go in the contest.
Nice move, nice move.
And a patient play there by Reichert. He'll feed it over for Van Horn. Van Horn wastes no time, whistles a shot wide. Corralled by Swangle. He'll feed it back. Reichert pinching in, and here come the Squirrels. They've got numbers the other way. McFarland, long pass ahead. Skating on is Casey Spears. He let that one roll through his legs to Fleming at the other side. Now looking to keep it in, and just able to do that is Barnhill. Swangle kicks it out. Van Horn circles, can't find it. And a good hustle play there by Casey Spear. And how many times have we said that in the contest? As Spears just had his motor going from start to finish here.
He's being very aggressive. He's doing his job out there.
Van Horn tries to dump it in from right to left. Pauly is there to break it up. Kicked in by Boyd, and then a nice job by Van Horn. Looked like Van Horn didn't know where the puck was, and if you're right at the blue line, you don't know where it is, hey, quick, get on side and just make sure that you don't break up something, and he did that as he just skated his right skate over. Pauly struggling with it, but gets back to it, and then he'll play it back in. That's a fantastic play for the Squirrels. They were in need of a change. Not only does Pauly make sure that he doesn't create something for the other team, but he gives his team a little bit of something as they're able to get new personnel out. Turnover as Bradford brings it in. That was Ed feeding it over for DeMarkey. Van Horn fans on the clearance, and here's Barnhill. Barnhill was broken up by Chad Van Horn, who was able to get back in time and seemed to will himself to break up that play. Sometimes there are those ones where when you know you kind of made the mistake, you do everything you can and you just force yourself, you will yourself to go, hey, I'm going to make sure the guy doesn't score on this particular play because otherwise that's all on me. And Van Horn responded nicely. Barnhill with the keep in, tries to get it towards the net, and DeMarkey will pick up the pieces. Back to the point, and it is poked around Luft.
Got Van Horn with him.
Now in is Swangle. Van Horn going towards the net, and a great job by Barnhill. Now the other way. Squirrels in with speed. Backhand drop pass, and DeMarkey was the intended target. Here comes Greening, fresh onto the ice. And from the top of the circle, he's able to work it deep. 14:10 to go in period number 3. The Knights will send it all the way down, and they'll wave off icing. This gives Robinson an opportunity to pressure, and does. Barnhill quickly releases it and gets it to friendly faces. Ahead, here's Van Howling. Waiting at the line was Emerson, as he wanted to make sure he wasn't offside, and that disrupted the breakout for the Squirrels. They'll play it up, held in by Van Howling. He'll cycle it deep, and Greening looks for a centering pass. That's broken up. Robinson will get it up and out as Haas finishes it off. Haas.
Goalie out.
And Brown battle Haas, doing everything she can to keep it there. And then Brown saw that he wasn't necessarily going to win the battle with Haas, but he was able to get that over to his defenseman.
He had the big advantage of the body size. He could just turn around and screen her off.
And a pass picked off by Robinson. Throws it towards the net. As that was Dulude, had that kick off his shin pad. A shot and a save, as that was Mark Braden looking for his 6th of the season, but Brown gets low and is there in time to make the stop with 12:50 left to go.
You don't beat Brown very often on the ground. You got to get him up in the air.
The Squirrels will take the defensive draw to the right of their goaltender, Brown. Robinson battling, and that will be won by the Vicious Squirrels. They'll poke it around. Getting the first touch on it is Murray, stepping up at the point, and now the Squirrels off to the races. Last man back is Reichert, although screaming back into the play is Hannah Haas. Ahrens makes the save. It goes behind the goal line, then bounces off the back boards, gloved by TJ, and he'll hold on. Still plenty of time in this one. No need to start hitting the panic button, but we'll keep an eye on the formations, on the personnel they'll roll out. But as this one gets closer and closer, if this score stands up and holds up to that point, you can definitely expect the Knights to try to change things up a little bit and look a little more offensive-minded. Boyd will keep
nice
that himself.
play.
And a nice job breaking that up by Spear at center ice. That'll turn it over and brought in by Fleming. Fleming fires a shot. Stick save by the goaltender, TJ. Now back at the Squirrels blue line with time is good. It's turned over. In comes Dove. Dove on his forehand, partially fans on it, but gets to it. Behind the goal line, he'll move it back out. He had Harms in the slot, elects instead to go to the left wing side and kind of float that up and away from Boyd. Tracking this one down and looking to move it quickly is Nemi. He will get it ahead for Teague Boyd. Boyd, the leading scorer for the Knights. He has their lone goal in the contest. Boyd coming up the left wing side and again broken up by Spear. Boyd with a second effort and he's able to dance around McFarland.
Spear again.
Spear comes back, helps break it up, and Barnhill will play it up to the left wing boards. Reichert pinches in. He'll cycle it back. Dove towards the net, and it takes a deflection. Boyd will try to track down the loose puck.
Wow.
Kicking at that is Braden. He had it for a moment. It escapes him. Braden coming back in a hurry. Squirrels will get it to their own blue line as DeMarchi. Or excuse me, that was good. Playing it ahead. Harms will dump it in. Now back for John Good. That'll get away from him. And then a centering pass broken up by the stick of the netminder and falling over to his right. He's able to hold on with 10:05 to play. But that's a game-tying goal if the stick of the netminder, Dave Brown, is not on the ice.
Oh, absolutely. I wish Boyd would have moved over a little bit coming to the other side. Both scorers were to the same side of him.
So the Squirrels trying to defend a 2-1 lead, trying to win back the Royal Nutter Butter Championship belt. Centering pass in the slot, kicking at it a couple of times, and the Squirrels will get a clearance.
Ed Bradford.
And it's Bradford coming in.
The boys.
Reichert looking to defend.
Good save.
And a nice save by Ahrens. Goes behind the cage. Reichert bringing into the offensive zone, centering pass.
How he kept that puck, I'll never know.
And he's able to get that over for Swangle. Squirrels unable to get that in. I think Hannah Haas helped break that up.
Yep.
Held in at the point. Bradford will get it deep.
That's DeMarchi behind the net.
DeMarchi with it. Try to pull it over on his backhand, and once again, Hannah Haas causing fits. Bradford will step in to help out DeMarchi. Staying with it. Bradford able to get around Haas for a moment, but not able to get out with the puck. Van Horn will move it over to the left side, and the Knights will get the clearance they were in need of. 8 minutes and 30 seconds to go, and this is played deep.
Time's going to become a factor pretty soon.
Pressured is Nemi. They'll send it up. It's held in. Here's Dulude. Dulude pulls it to his forehand in the slot, and that shot was broken up. Bradford Able to get a little bit of separation, but not much room to work with. Diving to make the play, and it's ahead to Van Horn. Van Horn onto Swangle, and the Knights into the offensive zone. Swangle has it broken up by Chris Pauley. Nice job by the defenseman to make sure the Knights don't get that shot. 7:45 to go in period number 3. Squirrels on top by the slimmest of margins, 2-1. Van Horn pressuring, that helps create a turnover. Swangle staying with the play, and it's swept away from him at the last moment by Greening. Swangle a couple of times there was not in a great position. The puck kind of shortchanged him, but he was still able to fight for it and nearly kept that in the zone. Knights will dump it in deep. From there, the Squirrels using the glass, getting it up. Nemi keeps it in, but it kicks out to Greening, and the Squirrels are back the other way. Reichert will step up on Greening. That leaves a man all out front, firing a shot, and Aarons comes up with another big save. 7:05 to go in the third. If the Knights could come back and get points out of this one, remember that save. It is Boyd. Boyd tries to bring it back to the backhand. Now Van Horn fires and laying down. Greening is able to make the stop. The loose puck goes into the corner. Still in the offensive zone, and now Van Howling will get it out and ahead. Greening had to come back for that one, so it slows down his momentum. He gets it to the red line, and he's in need of a change. He'll head off with 6:37 to play. Knights dump it in, and that one's going to die before it will be an icing. Murray backed up by Boyd, and the Squirrels will get it out of the zone. In is Emerson. Waiting was Spear. He fires the shot off the mark. Spear corrals it. Backhand pass. Attempted to get it to the slot. Unsuccessful there. Here's Boyd chipping it out of the zone. Barnhill is there to back up, and Spear will dump it in, but the puck had already gone over the blue line, so as Spear touches it, it's an offside call with 6 minutes to play here in period number 3.
Well, the action's starting to pick up, and they're starting to realize there's very little time. But pretty much going to start to see the Bradford boy trying to take over the game. But here we go. We got Hannah Haas with the puck. Back to Braden. Over to Chase Robinson. Oh, there we go. TJ Aarons keeping the puck in the zone, and Chase Robinson taking it off of his stick. And Casey Spear again. The favorite weapon of the Squirrels is obviously a spear.
Well, and Spear doing a fantastic job a couple of times in the offensive zone, but then really has done a wonderful job back checking, and there were twice that Boyd looked like he was going to have an offensive threat going for the Knights, and Spear was either able to defend him, or in one of the chances, he actually came back and broke it up. Here's Van Horn into the offensive zone. Excuse me, that's Murray.
Ooh,
he misses, but it caroms off the backboards and was sitting just next to the post, but Brown is able to get the glove back in time, and he'll hold on as we've got 5 minutes left in this contest.
And Teague Boyd skates a lot better than Casey Spear. Casey Spear doesn't have the experience that Teague does. And to stay with him like he has, he's actually been a huge asset defensively.
Face-off won by Bradford into the corner, but Haas, who lost that draw, quickly gets on, and backhanded effort. Brown will make the stop. 4:35 to play, and unless one of these teams starts scoring goals in a flurry, we're expecting that this will likely be in the 2-goal differential, so that stopped clock will end up coming into effect. Stepping up, the Squirrels look for a clearance, and Robinson. Make sure that that's not an easy clearance for the Squirrels. They will get it all the way down and on for DeMarchi. DeMarchi had his stick lifted beautifully by Braden. Braden will come away with the puck as his reward, but he's pressured immediately. Sent over by Reichert, just out of the reach of the Squirrels. An errant shot from the right circle, caroms off the backboards. Throwing it out front, it takes a deflection and didn't miss by much. Held in, centering pass, and Robinson will get this ahead.
Zach needs to get it up to Robinson. Zach doesn't have the shot that he does.
Murray
get it to
uses his body, and Haas trying to keep it in the zone. Barnhill pressured by Robinson as Murray's coming off for a, looked like he was heading off for a change, and he does. Plays it before he leaves the play. Squirrels. And that one kicked off the post, and I believe Haas got a piece of it.
Oh, that waved
That'll
that
be
off.
Van Horn fighting to get it down, and I believe what they're saying is it was deflected right as Van Horn muscled that away from Greening. Squirrels in the defensive zone, 2:53 to play. They lead by 1. They try a pass up the side. Boyd able to keep it in the zone for the moment. Knights in their own defensive zone. Ahead, and Van Horn spins around, brings it in. Looking to get a shot off.
I think the Knights really have to get their defense involved now. They're staying back a little bit too far.
At this point, you got to start rolling the dice. You like some good, solid defensive hockey, but not as much when you're down 2-1 with 2:15 to play. That one will
and he's not in no
settle
hurry.
down.
Save his time.
Yep. It's Luft. Luft pressured by Van Horn, able to make the escape up for Emerson. Emerson switches over to Van Howling.
Oh, nice passing.
And Greening. They're able to get that deep. Greening pulls it over to his forehand, and it's denied. Then a backhand, and another effort. A fourth, and the fourth one finally goes. The goal comes with 1:49 left to go in the third period, and the Squirrels pick up an insurance tally, and they've got a 3-1 lead.
Wow, they just pressure. 3 or 4 chances there. You got to get that puck out of the zone, or that's exactly what happens. I think Greening's pretty much, he's a vacuum around the net. He gets those loose pucks and just throws them in. Him and Pete down in there deep. There's still time. Anything could happen in this league.
Back into the offensive zone go the Squirrels. So anything can happen as long as the Knights can start playing in the north end a little bit more. Reichert backing up Van Horn. And Boyd will throw that. It's off target. Had it been on, it actually would have been a whistle for being an offside shot.
They haven't even moved the goalie.
And Brown is there at the right post, and he'll hold on. Stop clock with 1:20, and they're going to call Aaron's off here.
Yep. That's the right thing to do. With it down in the offensive zone, you got to get him many seconds as you can.
I think this is the right play anytime, but especially with so much on the line as these two teams playing for the belt.
Oh, weak shot.
And a backhand shot by Van Horn in the slot, steered aside by Brown. They can't get the clearance. Dove over to open space, and here's Van Horn. Van Horn throws it, and it goes in between the legs of Reichert, and Brown there with a stop. Reichert parks himself out front of the net, and then firing a quick shot was Teague Boyd. That kisses off the post, but on the wrong side of it. Boyd with another effort.
And
Reichert stepping up. And then a backhand, and Dove denied point blank range. You had Van Horn, Reichert, Boyd, and Dove all buzzing around the crease, and Brown stands tall with 45.3 to play.
Fantastic play by the Knights. A lot of movement around that's exactly what you want to see at this point of the game.
And the Squirrels.
He's going to take an icing.
We'll get a clearance. And we'll have an icing that'll stop the clock with 39 seconds. And believe me, the Squirrels are quite content with that.
Yep. Just trying to break the momentum. The Knights need two. It's just so unlikely there, but even getting one right now would be a huge boost.
Boyd will take the offensive zone draw. Haas is the extra skater. She lines up right behind Boyd. They've got both of their centers out there. Fed back to Reichert. Reichert shot broken up by Bradford. And then trying to softly move it ahead is DeMarkey. Knights will break that up before he gets to Bradford. Offside, and that'll steal the puck.
That'll be
the
icing.
Squirrels will send it right back down. Icing again with 20.2 to play, and the draw is going to come to the right of their netminder Brown. Again, don't forget that we've got D-League action, not on D-League radio, but more D-League action coming up. The Tall Boys and the Blues are next tomorrow. The Reefers and the Smart Aces at 8 o'clock. 9:15, the Jesters versus the Stampede.
Go Jesters.
If you want to, you can tune into some of the earlier games. Those were on D-League Radio. And this is turned over at the blue line. And the Squirrels will add an empty net goal with 11 seconds to go. And Reichert has some words to say for Bradford, as that will end this contest 4-1 with the empty net goal. It's the first of the game for Ed Bradford.
Well,
as
but
he's got his 23rd. Yep, but he has a 3-point game, and he's certainly one of the stars of this contest. But quite honestly, I think that Dave Brown was huge for the Squirrels, as every time it looked like the Knights had a possibility to, earlier in the game, try to take the lead back, potentially tie it, or cut it within one, Brown was there. The only time he was beaten was back in the first period. Teague Boyd got things started at 11-11 from Chase Robinson. The only goal of the first gave the Knights a 1-0 lead, but then the vicious Squirrels, Johnny Bradford Jr. from Ed Bradford at 7-16, tied the game. At 12-19, it was Johnny again from Ed and Steve DeMarkey. That gave the Squirrels a 2-1 lead going into the third. And then Ryan Greening with the insurance goal late, 16-11 from Pete Van Howling, and the empty netter from Ed Bradford at 17:56.
Well,
so
this was exactly what you expect from the Nutter Butter game. This is the belt won by the team that played a little bit better than the other. But, you know, a 4-1 ending is not really indicative of the actual level of play. It was a great game all the way down to the end, and very enjoyable to watch. I kind of wish the Knights would have come out on top, being an alumni of the Knights, but it was a great game. And there's Pete waving at us from the top. So,
a 2-1 score with 2 minutes to go. And that was a game where any bounce in the third period goes the Knights' way. We could be talking about a tie. We could be talking about a Knights victory. But instead,
absolutely.
It's the vicious Squirrels prevailing, and they will move on with the winning streak going into the playoffs. They now have a record of 12-7-3, good for 27 points, and third in the Schroeder Conference. The Knights fall to 6-15-1. They have 13 points on the season. Want to quickly again thank our sponsors. All games are brought to you by the Keg Stand, 3530 Westtown Parkway, West Des Moines. Over 90 beers on tap with new tappings every week. Don't miss half-price wings on Wednesdays, along with penny pitchers. Home of D-League and D-League Radio, the Keg Stand. And don't forget, you and I will be a part of this, the first annual D-League Postseason Awards. A very special event will be held at the Keg Stand following the conclusion of the season. More details to come. Keep listening to D-League Radio. Kevin Coble alongside myself. Aaron Harris, we want to thank for running the camera. Kevin, your thoughts on this contest?
Well, like I said, it was exactly what we'd expected, a rise. The Squirrels are doing great this year. The Knights have been struggling, but you saw them step up and play equal to the Squirrels most of this game. And the Squirrels' experience, and some of their players really stepped up and finished off the game. But my hat goes off to Ed Bradford and John Reichardt for creating such an atmosphere with a traveling trophy that has made such an event every year really a lot of fun to watch. And hopefully some other things like that will start to stem from the other teams.
I know that there are some traveling trophies among the other teams. None of them have the notoriety, and none of them have the fame of the Royal Nutter Butter Championship belt, and it will end this season. And unless these teams were to happen to meet in the playoffs, with the Vicious Squirrels, they come away victorious by a final score of 4-1. So for myself, for everyone who is a part of the broadcast, obviously this wouldn't be possible without Rich Harms, who is out there trying to win that championship belt. We want to thank him, Matt Whips as well, Aaron Harris for running the camera. My name's Eric Zamora. This is Kevin Coble, and this has been D-League Radio.